Hi everyone, and welcome to the Strike Zone, where security is the #1 priority. Troops. This is the first in a series of vidicks for all of you who aren't happy with capitalism. I'm not gonna gavareet about why the system's merski to the core, greed, the twisted view selfishness is good for all, exploitation, unemployment, extreme wealth to the oligarchs, poverty for the mnogis, unnecessary commodities, parasitical professions, I can think of at least 30, unsafe mooch and medicine, pollution and war. Don't you wonder, in this bullshit crisis we're in today, why social revolutions aren't breaking out all over the place? I mean, why aren't looties overthrowing the parasitical and anarchic system of profit-making? Okay, I can hear some of you smecking. You want a planned economy? Ha ha ha, that didn't work in the Soviet Union. Well, pilgrims, was it the planned economy that was wrong with the Soyuz, or something else? Vulture capitalists want no talk of planned economies because they're terrible at planning. And no wonder when it's each Bugatti for himself against all others. The system's hardwired to plunge into crisis at our expense. Yeah, what's the euphemism the Piedmonts use? Oh yeah, business cycle. Gloopies who say the neoliberal missile of greed and selfishness has triumphed over socialism are celebrating too soon. If they have won, as they've been saying ever since the Soviet Union collapsed back in 1991, what are they still so uptight about? Maybe it's the suspicion final victory is unattainable. That really must frighten and anger them. They know, but won't admit it, that the specter of socialism isn't dead. No, the Highgate ghost is quite alive. So why hasn't the radical left risen? Where's the revolution, troops? Of course, if you ask the Range Rover apologists, they'll tell you the system's flexible, no problem. Capitalism will never die. That's a load of chapuka if I ever heard it. Like feudalism and slavery, this system had a birth, it still has a life, unfortunately, and it will have a death. But can we afford to let it run its baddywad course? No. We're gonna help it along its way, we're gonna speed up its demise, don't you say? The question is how. Some radicals choose the electoral parliamentary road. All such efforts are doomed, bought out, watered down, or drowned in Crovey, like Salvador Allende's mildly socialist experiment in Chile. To maintain their control, the Bugattis used political and economic coercion, and of course the Ras and the millicents. But their hegemony is also achieved through ideology. They developed common sense values for all. So lots of ignorant shells identify their own good with that of the Piedmonts and waste the amazing power of their separateness. How can we disagree with that great shark, Sylvia Pankhurst, who said in 1920 that the best way to wean people from faith in elections is refusal to participate in them. Nose counting has gotten us absolutely nowhere. If elections changed anything, they'd be illegal. So, if we reject the ballot box, what are the options? Highly centralized conspiratorial organizations that want to make revolution in the name of the looties. Groups like Lenin's Bolshevikis can be pretty good at seizing power, but not so good at creating socialism. The state that was formed in Russia was a monstrous and tyrannical caricature of the original vision of 1917. Lenin and Trotsky had wanted to spark a world revolution. They hoped Germany's Arbeiters would get together with Russia's Rabochis and light an international fire against private property, the free market, and the Bugattis. This did not happen. Can you imagine if both Russia and Germany had been socialist? Yep, you guessed it. The US and the rest of the world would be too today. Like the Tsars before him, Stalin, who liked to be called Hosyain or boss, increased the power of the state. Workers' rights were secondary in the USSR. The word Soviet means council, a group of simple ludis formed to deal with a problem. After the Bolsheviks came to power on the rising tide of the workers' councils, they crippled them for the rule of their party. But whatever you say about the Soviet Soyuz, it sure wasn't what the name suggests. Okay, if the task of radix isn't to make revolution in the name of the ludis, what is it? Simple. Support stachkas wherever they happen and help set up something like a strike central, something to coordinate the global bitva. But that's a topic for another video. In the meantime, troops, look out for the Ras and the millicents and stay safe.